Well, a wetting agent is something that helps break the water down so that it can get into the soil through the turf canopy.
I expect to manage my moisture more effectively. It makes water wetter.
Anything that can break the surface tension of water. I do a lot of research with various wetting agents, and so some are meant to move it through the soil, some are meant to keep it in the soil, but anything that helps the distribution of moisture is what I would consider an acceptable wetting agent.
My definition of a wetting agent will be something applied to a green to break the surface tension down on water and enable it to go into the soil to prevent localized dry spots. But you've got so many wetting agents and different modes of action, and some of them hold moisture even though they allow water to go through. Some of them make the water pass through. So there's a lot to learn about wetting agents.
Wetting agent just basically softens the water and makes the water more usable by the plant.
What I try to accomplish is uniform wetting that gets down through the organic into the sand mix.
Wetting agent is something that helps you manage localized dry spots.
So what are wetting agents, and are they all the same? Well, to begin with, it seems the term wetting agent is rather generic.
It's really an umbrella term that covers a lot of different kinds of products that are called different kinds of things depending on what you're supposed to connote from the name of the product. And I think the time has come to be more specific in terms of the definitions of the various products that are lumped under this umbrella of wetting agents. The primary reason that wetting agents remain more or less a generic term has to do with the fact that there's quite limited research that's been conducted on wetting agents per se, particularly in the turfgrass science area. And I don't think if you look in the literature and textbooks that are used in introductory turfgrass courses, for example, or published literature that graduate students can attain, there's not a lot there. As a consequence, until there's scientific reproducible research conducted, published, it's always going to be left to observation and non-replicated kinds of research. And in that arena, a lot of these variables that you were talking about before aren't controlled. And the more you can control the variables that are influencing outcome and get at whether or not this particular product is doing the job, it becomes completely complex and hard to sort out what is and what isn't.
Some wetting agents help retain water while others help move water, and there's a basic molecular difference between the two.
The science behind whether or not a product pushes or helps penetrate a hydrophobic situation, one that normally would repel water like a localized dry spot or a hot spot, would have a different molecular structure than a compound that would be trying to accomplish the opposite. Some materials will allow the surface tension of a droplet of water to be reduced so that it spreads more than a droplet would normally do, given the normal set of circumstances around surface tension of water, all the way to the other end of the spectrum, which would be to allow a surface that has surface tension to hold water more than it would otherwise.
Dr. Watchke says that one wetting agent can't do both.
To ask a single product to move water and at the same time hold water is a titanic paradox that we just can't go there.
So it's important for superintendents and grounds managers to be clear on what the problem is before talking to salespeople about wetting agents.
Someone might approach a superintendent grounds manager with a product and introduce the product as a wetting agent. Now, if the superintendent or the turf manager is cognizant in a specific way about what his need might be, then they can follow up the question by further defining wetting agent by explaining what they want to accomplish. In other words, do I want to move water through the profile? Do I want to retain water? Will make a great difference in terms of what the person ought to use. So it's kind of on the shoulders of the end user to be sure that the person that is introducing them to a product knows what he has as an issue and what best way to solve it, because the product selection could actually be backwards when it makes a problem worse rather than better.
Making the problem worse also lengthens recovery time.
By being very specific about what the problem is, choosing the right product to correct the problem, then it cuts to the chase. You end up solving your problem rather than throwing the kitchen sink at it and hope something works.